In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a client winning machine. Everyone is always focused on just bidding projects. That's why they're broke. That's why they struggle to win jobs. And that's why they're always complaining about having to be the low bidder. Now, what if I told you that by making a few small adjustments to your sales process, you could see a massive difference and start winning more projects? What I'm talking about is building a client winning machine. We're not going to focus on the project. We're going to focus on the client, because if we invest in the clients, the jobs will come. And not only are they going to come, they're going to come easier. They're going to come automatically. They're going to come at premium rates. The clients are going to be the ones calling you. You're not going to be chasing them. It's literally going to put your sales on easy mode. Before I started I Am Builders, I was part of growing a commercial construction business to $7 million a year. And we did it by building a system, by building a machine where we go find the clients, we bid a bunch of their jobs, we get to know these clients, invest in them, and then eventually these guys will become our repeat clients. Essentially, we will become their go-to guy where they just wanted to use only us. They didn't want to use the other guys. And we did it by building a system where we find the clients, where we bid a bunch of their jobs, and we invest in them so that we get to know them, we become familiar with them, they get to trust us, we work on a bunch of jobs with them, and then eventually we become their go-to guy where they couldn't dream of using somebody else because we were so good. I've even had cases where the project managers will call me and they're like, "Hey Daniel, you guys are the high bidder, but we've decided to use you." One of the guys named Bob for a company called City Construction, he actually called me. He's like, "Hey Daniel, we decided to use you guys, and even though you're the high bidder, like, you know how the buyout is. I gotta cut costs, on every trade. What can you do to give me a deal?" And I gave him a couple $1,000 off, and boom, instant contract in the email. We were their preferred contractor, a company called City Construction. If you get in a place where they're calling you and they're like, "Hey, we want to use you. We don't want to use anybody else. We want to use you." If you can't agree on price and all that stuff, then they'll go to everybody else. They're plan B's and C's, but you want to become the plan A. Actually, in another case, I had a client that he really wanted to use us, but we were too expensive for the budget. And he actually called me back and he goes, "Let me see what I can do. Let me reallocate some of the budgets for all the other trades and see if I can add a little bit more into the drywall scope for you guys." And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this guy really wants to work with us. And that's what happens when you do a great job and you build repeat clients. Everything just becomes easier. And not only does it become easier, these guys do become your lifelong clients where you're going to work with them for years. So like, think about it. They're giving you a couple jobs every month. Imagine that times a bunch of years. Imagine the lifetime value of that client to your business. So this strategy that I'm teaching you is right out of our playbook. This is what we did. I didn't have a fancy sketch and all that stuff. I have it now because obviously now I'm in the consulting side of the world. So I have to teach it to you. So I have to draw it out. But this is the actual strategy that we use to take the business from a little mom and pop labor company to $7 million a year in annual revenue. And we did that in 2 years. So this system worked. And now through I Am Builders, I have the privilege to work with contractors nationwide with their sales and estimating. And I've actually been able to put this system to the test. So we know it works. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me introduce you to the 8-figure contractor system. And I call it 8-figure contractor because it's designed to take companies from wherever you are into the $5 million range and then eventually $10 million. So you're an 8-figure contractor. This is the exact blueprint that I'm working with inside of my training program. And in here, I work with small contractors, medium contractors. I work with multi-million dollar or tens of million dollar companies in scaling their businesses. As a matter of fact, one of our biggest success stories just crossed over $40 million in sales since he started with us. He's doing about, what, $20-30 million a year now.
As of this morning, I just signed. We have over $20 million in contracted work as of today.
And since he started with us, he's actually sold $40 million in contracted work. It's crazy. I'm not saying that that's going to be you an overnight sensation, but the point is, if somebody can do 40 million, and I have clients doing $1, $2, $3 million a year that they're starting out from like relatively small, imagine if you were to just implement this process. Like, you're here on YouTube, you're watching it for free, just implement it. So if you're interested in joining our training program, it's a coaching program and a community where we have over 500 contractors that are all growing their businesses. We have a training program. We have a weekly group coaching call. I'm also going to put a link in the description so you can check it out. At the time of this recording, I'm giving a free trial. I don't know how long that's going to last, so check it out. Don't wait. All right, let's dive into the system. So the system is broken out into 5 phases. The first phase is called the introduction phase. The second phase is called the escalation phase, preferred phase, multiplication phase, and then finally the expansion phase. In the introduction phase, we're going to be focused on finding new leads, talking to clients, getting our foot in the door with these clients for the first time, essentially working with them the first time. In the escalation phase, we're going to start working directly with the decision makers. These are the guys that sign the checks and sign the contracts and sign the change orders. These are the guys that in the future are going to give us the repeat work. So we want to really get our foot in the door and really get to know these guys. Then number 3, the preferred phase. The preferred phase is is once you've done a bunch of jobs, you've escalated your relationship with these clients, you are going to be a preferred contractor. They're going to want to use you over and over and over. In a lot of cases, you're so good to them that they're going to marry you. Like literally, you are the go-to guy. If you get to that go-to spot, you're guaranteed money for as long as you don't screw up the jobs. You're guaranteed job after job after job. And imagine if you do that over and over and over, and you do that with a lot of clients, imagine what that could represent to your business. Once we go through this whole process the first time, you're going to just repeat that again, and you're going to be in what I call the multiplication and expansion phases, because now we're going to start scaling the business, scaling the systems, building the team so that you can take things to the next level. Let me paint a picture for you, because I've been talking a lot, but I want to make sure you grasp the power of this. The power in this is what I call the system of repeat business. Like one of my members named Rafa, he goes, Daniel, you know, I've been in your program for like 2 years, and I kind of did some of it, but I didn't do all of it. But recently we put our head down and we started bidding by blind faith, because I know there's a little bit of a time frame from when you bid the job to when you win it. Now we've just started winning job back to back to back. So if you were to do that, bid by blind faith, you find the leads, you bid the jobs, you follow up, you do all the stuff that I'm teaching you here. Imagine what this represents to your business. But let's say, just for the sake of argument, your average contract amount is $200,000. If you find one client that is willing to give you 5 or 6 jobs a year, that's 6 jobs times $200,000 contracts equals $1.2 million per client per year. So if you find one guy, you're giving yourself a revenue stream of $1.2 million this year. If you go out and you do it again and you follow the exact same footsteps, follow the footsteps, don't even reinvent the wheel. This is the plan. This is the journey. Don't change it. You go out there and you keep bidding and you do it again. Client number 2 comes around and you find that golden little nugget. Boom, now you got a second client. That's $2.4 million. And you can do this easily as a subcontractor, super easily as a GC, because your contracts are usually much higher than $200,000. $1.2 million, client number 1, 1.2. That's $2.4 million in the first year. Next year, you do it again and you find another 2.4, right? But then these guys also give you, boom, $2.4 million. You're at 4.8. You understand the power now? Now it's compounding. So now, boom, the third year, now you got 4 repeat clients, 5 and 6. And boom, now you got 6 repeat clients giving you business over and over and over and over and over. And probably they're going to stick with you, because in human nature, there's a thing where you probably have heard that saying, right? It's better the devil that you know than the devil that you don't know, right? The human nature inside of us is, hey, I know these guys. I know what to expect. Like, they might not be the best, but I know what to expect, right? That's better than, hey, I'm going to use this brand new company I've never worked with before. That's why we talk a lot about risk in all of our stuff. Actually, in a second, I'm going to talk about risk reversal, how to take away the risk so they want to hire you and stuff like that. Your goal should be to get repeat clients. All right, let's talk about the introduction phase. So the introduction phase is all about finding clients to bid for. We're going to research clients. We're going to make a list. We're going to start visiting clients. We're going to start doing the prospecting that we need to get our foot in the door. And I want you to think about this. Like, if we were to replace the name introduction phase, I want you to replace it, like, in your mind, like the get your foot in the door phase. Boom, that's it. Like, I don't even need to talk about the rest of the stuff that I have here written. But what we want to do is essentially get our foot in the door, do whatever we can to get the client to say yes. Okay, we just want the first project, because if we get the first project, we have like a 90% chance of doing the next job. Remember I said earlier that there's a certain sense of security of them using the same people that they already know, because they like and trust you. They know what they're buying. They know what to expect. What we want to do is we want to get our foot in the door, and we want to do it by removing all risk. So one of the strategies that we do to remove the risk is what I call the break-even method. And it's funny because, like, when I talk about this, I usually get like a lot of hate comments. So trolls, go ahead and comment below how much you hate this method. No, but in all reality, the break-even method is a strategy where you're literally coming in at cost or slightly above cost, which will force a meeting. Right? A lot of people don't understand this. So a lot of people, when I talk about this, they really get crazy about, like, you can't be the low bidder. You're a terrible salesperson if you have to be the low guy. I've been doing this for 30 years, Daniel. I know what I'm doing. Is your 30-year experience giving you a client doing $40 million, giving you another client doing $2 million, another client doing $5 million? What I'm going to say to you is, don't hate the game, hack the system, right? A lot of people don't really know this, but the project managers get bonuses tied into the profits of the companies. So if we know this, and we know that it's in their personal best interest to get the cheapest guy, then let's work with that. There's a cost to the cheap guy sometimes. Sometimes it'll backfire, and it becomes a matter of like the cheap guy costs you more money. So there's like a cost benefit relationship there that you have to overcome with the client. So we're gonna make that decision simple. We're gonna remove the cost issue, right? We're gonna lower our price, come in at break even. We're gonna give them a trial, okay? And number two, we're gonna take away all the risk because you're gonna sell yourself in that final negotiation. They're gonna come in and they're gonna be like, all right, this is a smaller contract, or this is a starter contract for them. I'm gonna work with them the first time. I don't care if you have to do a patchwork on the wall. I don't care if it's a small job where it's like, we're just replacing a screw on the wall. Do the first job, because if you do the first job, you'll get the next job. I have a story that I talk about all the time. It's the demo job that really scaled our company. So I was in commercial drywall. We got the opportunity to do the demo flooring, the floor demo scope of a bank project. And we almost didn't do that job because we were a drywall contractor. We don't do demo, but we wanted to get our foot in the door with this company called City Construction. And we ended up deciding to do it. We bought some jackhammers at Home Depot and whatever. Long story short, we knocked out the project. We got to work with the project management team. And what happened was we did a great job. We gave them the trial. And then they're like, hey, I got another job coming up. I got a retail store. You want to do the drywall scope? I'm like, yes. Boom, we did that one. Hey, I got a restaurant. Boom, I got another job. And long story short, that company, we got our foot in the door by that little crappy demo job that we probably wouldn't have normally done. And that escalated, that's the escalation phase that we're going to talk about in a second, that escalated the relationship to the point where we became their preferred contractor and they wanted to use us over and over and over. And that company represented about $2 million a year worth of work for us. So the point I'm trying to make is that like, just get your foot in the door. That's what the introduction phase is all about. All right, so now we've found the projects, we've invested in the client, we bid the jobs, right? Now we got to win that job. So clients, this is the strategy to win it. So I'm going to show you to win the first job. We're going to go on, obviously we're talking about the break-even method, but clients are going to buy based on your price, your reputation with them. In the beginning, they don't know you, right? And you don't know them, so they don't know what they're buying. So we're going to lead on our price, because ultimately the goal is we start with our price. They know what they're buying now because they work with us the first time. And now we start building a relationship with each person in the company. And then we start building a reputation in the company and in the market, because we start talking to other clients. They're going to see the jobs that we've previously done. The point is that we lead with our price, we get our foot in the door, and now we can start escalating. So now we're going to get into the escalation phase. Where in the escalation phase, we are going to escalate our relationship with the clients and we're going to escalate our price with the clients. So now once we finish the first job, we are behind enemy lines. So once you do the first job, I keep saying this over and over, but you have a 90% chance of doing the next job. So I want you to think of the logic here. If we do one job, you're going to get several more behind it. So our whole number one goal, and I'm going to keep saying it so it gets into your head, is do the first job. Do whatever you have to do the first job. What happens is the guys that make the real decisions are senior project managers, the project management team. Those are the guys that ultimately decide. The people that you're going to first work with are the bid coordinators, the secretaries, the office managers, the estimators. Those are the people that like they collect the proposals and they prepare the spreadsheets and all that. They win the jobs. And then when it goes to the project management team, those are the guys that are going to actually buy the job out. Those are the guys that have the bonuses tied to their salaries. Their job is on the line because obviously the job is always on the line. These are the guys that we need to really make sure that we can convince for us to get our foot in the door. And now once we do the first job, now we have a direct line to these clients. In the escalation phase, we're going to be escalating the relationship, the one-on-one relationship that we have with these guys. I'm talking about superintendents, project managers, the accounting team, everybody that's behind the scenes. You typically can't really talk to these guys until you win a job. Like you can't show up and be like, hey, can I meet your project management team? They're going to be like, no, like, what business do you have with them? But you can go and like walk in and be like, hey, can I meet your estimating team? Like, I want to work with you guys. Who's in charge of purchasing? You can do that, but you're not usually going to be able to go to the PM team straight off the bat. So all these guys that you're going to work with, they move companies a lot. So like junior guys will eventually become senior guys at that company, or they might move on to other companies, but they can take you with them. So you always want to invest in every single person. All right, we've officially worked with the estimating team. We've worked with the project management team. We've gotten some contracts. Now what? Let's go into number 3, the preferred phase. This is the phase where we're going to start getting the repeat work. This is our goal. This is our mission. We want to get into the preferred slot. At a certain point, you're going to start getting calls that are going to kind of go like this. Hey, Daniel, you've been working with Bob for some time and I need a drywall contractor for this project. I heard great things about you guys. Can you give me a bid ASAP? When you start getting opportunities, that means you're going to start closing those jobs way easier. So these are what I call internal referrals. you're going to start closing 30%, 40%, 60% of your bids. In the beginning, when they don't know you, you're likely going to be at around like the 10% mark. But as you start working with the company and getting your foot in the door and working with these other guys inside the company, you're likely going to be at like higher percent closing rate with that company. That's why the strategy is you find these guys and you stick with them, and then you put all your resources on the guys that are giving you the highest return of investment. So now once you get in and these guys are going to want to start calling you, because the truth is that in construction, most construction companies suck. So if you're responsible, if you show up on time, if your paperwork is in order, if you do a great job, you're literally going to stand out. You're going to be like the elite, best of the best contractor, because your comparison are like the guys that don't answer the call. They don't submit their billings on times. They always send crazy change orders. Like this is your competitor. Every single architect, every single developer, every single GC, they have their guys, and we need to do everything in our power to become that guy. Essentially what happens is they fight to get their plan A, right? To get you. And if they can't get you because of your schedule or whatever, they'll go to plan B. That's how it works. So in a lot of cases, when you do your prospecting, and this is why I talk about doing it in person, these companies, they might have their people that are locked in, like they've been working with the same guy for 20 years. Man, I'm telling you, you're never gonna break in there, not even if your price is free. But there's a lot of other companies. The norm is that they just have guys they use, and they might have like a couple of decent ones, but they're not married to them. So our mission is to get in and be so good that they're gonna wanna marry us. And if you do that, that means that you're gonna have a revenue stream for a very long time. I have clients that have been working with the same companies for like 20 years. And I'm like, how did you do it? It's like, I don't know, like I just been always working with them, and I give them good prices and I do good service for them. And I'm like, what a concept. You do a good job and you get more jobs out of the people. Again, I didn't make this stuff up. I work with a lot of companies. I work with old guys. I work with successful companies, and I see what they're doing. So I'm like, what can I learn from these guys? What can I grab from them so I can bring to my group? So now we are a preferred contractor with company number one. Congratulations, you've just unlocked $1.2 million of a revenue stream. And now we're gonna enter into the multiplication and expansion stages. Everything that you just learned, you're gonna do it over and over and over until you retire or until you sell your company. So hold on a second, Daniel. You're saying that all I gotta do is find leads, visit them, bid their jobs, care about the client, do a good job, and then just do it again? Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's not rocket science. If you do that, you're gonna get repeat clients like crazy at scale. And in the multiplication phase, what we're doing is everything you just did, everything you just learned and you did by yourself, we're gonna build a team so you could do it at scale. We're gonna get more leads, we're gonna bid more jobs, we're gonna do more follow-up, we're gonna do more contracts, because when you start doing more is going to come behind it. Typically, what I recommend is when you start getting close to the $1 million mark, you're going to start feeling yourself stretched thin. So at that point, you might have to start building your team. I'm not going to cover all the specifics on building your team here. I have a completely dedicated video. I'm also going to put a link in the description so you can watch that video. Basically, build your team so you can scale more. And at a certain point, you're going to see that you've squeezed all the juice from your city. You've captured all the market share you're going to be able to capture. You've talked to every GC, every architect, every developer, and you're going to see your sales like they're going up and up and up. And at a certain point, they're going to plateau. They're going to get stuck. And so what you're going to have to do is to keep growing, you're going to have to start expanding into other cities. Now, I will caution you, if you want one of those $100 million big corporations, that's cool. Some people are cool at this stage. Like you could have like a $20 million business or $50 million business in your city, depending on where you live. If you live in like the middle of nowhere, you might find it hard to find jobs and you have to have a wide service area. But if you're like me, I'm in a big city. There's probably, if I wanted to do it, $50–100 million worth of work out there that I can go do right now. Same thing with in any big city, LA, New York, in like DFW, like all these big cities, there's a lot of work there. So you don't really have to worry about expanding. But if you do, essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep your headquarters in your city, your administration team, your project management team, your estimating team, everybody local, and you're gonna build satellite offices, or you are going to get guys that are gonna travel. And then you can have a wider service area and keep your logistical team, your headquarters, in one spot. Now, if you want to learn this exact process, if you want my help to scale your business, I want to invite you to join my 8-figure contractor system. It's also known as the Construction Sales Academy. This is our playbook. This is what we do every single day. Whenever I have a client that wants to grow their business, this is what we do. I'm going to teach you how to get 100 leads or more per month, I'm going to teach you how to estimate those jobs. I'm going to teach you how to build your team, how to build your estimating team, how to negotiate and close those jobs. I want to invite you because at the time of this recording, we have about 500 general contractors and subs. There's a weekly group coaching call where you can watch the videos, come to the call, ask questions. Hey, I need help. Hey, my GC said this. Hey, my architect said this. What do I do? I'm able to help you. Our group is able to help. I learn a lot from our members. They're out there doing their own thing and they come, hey, I'm trying this and it worked. Hey, I'm trying this. So a lot of our stuff comes also directly from our members. So I highly encourage you to join. This is a group of small guys and huge guys. Like I said, I have multi-million-dollar companies in there and I have the small guys as well. There's a 14-day free trial. I'm going to put a link right over here and I'm also going to put it in the description. In the next video, I'm going to teach you how to get instant leads. If you watch my instant leads video, you're going to know exactly how to get leads like today, where you can start bidding those jobs and start putting all this into practice. Don't be one of those guys that just watches a video and you're like, oh, that's great theory. No, let's put it to practice. Let's grow your business. The people that grow their business are the executors, the ones that go out there and do it. See you on the next video.